I want to show you a video recording of how women trained in resistance centers. Yes, women now. Yes, before there were, black people, white people, then Antifa, so-called anti-fascists, and now they've gathered an army of unmarried lesbians, unemployed women, and they're sending them against Trump and Trump supporters. Don't turn off the car.
Subtitles made by Dima Torzok.
Get out of the car.
No, out of the car.
Out of the car. 299 almost got hit. Get out of the car. One attempt to hit the police officer failed. It didn't work. They're not firing either. Well, a complete failure, then comes the second attempt. Maybe they'll start shooting, and the successful attempt actually hit the police officer. The leftists say that she was just scared, but she was scared of the police, running away without realizing what she was doing, that she supposedly didn't understand, that she supposedly did everything like they went wild. Here is a resident of this neighborhood, not a feminist, not a suffragist, just a witness to what happened.
And we are supposed to feel sorry for such people. We are supposed to show empathy, compassion, cry, and repost for people like this, who deliberately try to harm officers, law enforcement personnel.
Her name is Mishel Makswell. She is a wife, a mother, and, as she calls herself, a constitutional conservative, meaning she likes laws and order. That's why she's a conservative. The left hates people like that the most.
Am I supposed to throw out all logic and common sense from my head and believe that there's nothing wrong with these people? You deliberately tried to kill this officer, to cause serious harm to this officer. You are ready to give up your life, and apparently you are proudly willing to die for illegal immigrants and for the Democratic Party, which has convinced you that you are doing the right thing.
She didn't live in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and judging by her age, she's probably not from our era either. But she understands that our ruling party, no matter what it calls itself, is always looking for fools to fight so that the party of scoundrels can thrive. And what does it mean for the party to thrive? For the party to thrive, it means that the party elite, the party bigwigs, are stuffing themselves. War or no war, blockade of Leningrad or not. Doesn't matter, we have sturgeon and snack on caviar. They purchase pricey cars for their kids and build mansions costing tens of millions. They already despise those they sent to kill, maim, and rob, calling them names. Well, for themselves, of course, for themselves. Scum, plebs, useful idiots. Well, go up to the podium, not a step back, will die as one. Solidarity, equality, hooray. And then back to their warm chambers to keep eating, to keep consuming. And you, scum, go out in the cold and push against the police, fool, idiot.
You deliberately tried to kill this officer, to cause serious harm to this officer. You are ready to give up your life, and apparently you are proudly ready to give your life for illegal immigrants and for the Democratic Party, which made you believe that you are doing the right thing, but you are not.
I agree with Mishel 126.7%. I would like to shake her hand, but I'll do it virtually since she lives somewhere on the other side of America. Those who want to die for those spoiled bastards are idiots, clinical idiots. A step to the left, a step to the right, and you get shot. There's a problem. The elderly Democrat comes out onto the balcony, picks his teeth, and says, well, after all, here we went a bit too far. After all, you can't just, cut the branch you're sitting on, tsuk. And the enraged, frenzied crowd of lesbians and transgender people, no longer able to calm down, can no longer hear. Their emotions have become so deep, so deeply rooted in their bodies that their minds have shut off. And they understand only one thing, A traitor means an enemy too, which means the governor betrayed them. Governor Tim Walz was talking on the phone with Trump, a traitor, and agreed that the police should stop attempts to kill federal agents, a traitor. You probably thought that the police are supposed to do that, just to be clear. So that means Timchick. That means he was also encouraging the madness in the streets, the rage that's happening right now. Let them get out of our city, out of our state. They came here to plunge us into tyranny, to plunge us into tyranny. He's a thief. There's no place left on him for another mark, into dictatorship, into fascism. That's right, into fascism. They are enemies. They came to rape our children. They came to rape our children. That means the illegals who rape their children, they protect them, they don't hand them over, don't allow anyone to take them anywhere, to judge them, nothing. They release them onto the streets, and the rapes continue. Next. True. So, against this background, does it mean that maybe we should finally allow the police to stop attempted murders? Of course, it sounded like a betrayal, and they rushed to his house to shout traitor at him. And plenty of other kind words.
We are seeing exactly the result that was to be expected. Now, even the leftists are completely dissatisfied with them. In fact, right now as we speak. A crowd of protesters gathered in front of Tim Walz's office at the Minnesota State Capitol, essentially demanding that he hand control of the city's streets over to this very crowd. But in the end, who can truly sympathize with Walz? After all, this is exactly the bed he so carefully made for himself. Playing with fire, gathering a crowd of radical, unstable people, means even a small misstep can anger them. If you say, alright, maybe this is going too far, maybe I really should stop urging my supporters to basically become martyrs, perhaps police should stand between the aggressive immigration agents and protesters to prevent any incidents, then they'll come for you too, and that's exactly what you're seeing right now.
Plus, for the first time, the mayor and the governor allowed the police to go out into the streets and separate their own enraged people, whom they themselves had incited, from the federal agents who came to arrest the killers. They came, some of whom were found hiding, some with fake IDs. And also Trump, a terrible, frightening, nightmarish person, demanded that the governor allow the feds to take over the state's prison records. More than 1,000 murderers and bandits who are sitting in our American prisons, eating and drinking at our expense, watching television, playing ping pong, and learning to knit. If they express such a desire, all of this is at whose expense? At ours. So what does the federal government want? Terrible, nightmarish authorities. How dare they want anything? They want to send, oh horror, out of our country, the one they're in. They're here without our permission. They just snuck in, that's all. Yes, to San Salvador, but why? Where? For a quarter of the cost of keeping them in our prison, here they will serve out their sentences, and then they'll be sent home, not back to our streets, killing again, raping again. After prison in San Salvador, criminals usually don't want to end up in prison again, but after prison in the United States, they easily go on to commit new crimes, not afraid at all of going back to prison, where they are well fed, where they gain weight, drink, and make new friends. It's just like our tech in the distant Soviet Union. So which prison, in your opinion, not theirs, but your opinion, is better? The one that gives rest and new connections, or the one that scares you for the rest of your life? Personally, I would be fine with them being scared for the rest of their lives. Actually, I would like to completely rebuild the entire punishment system, but I've already talked about this, and I'll talk about it separately again.
President Trump spoke directly with Governor Walz this morning, and he outlined a clear and simple path to restoring law and order in Minnesota. First of all, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all the Democratic Party leaders. They must hand over all illegal immigrant criminals currently held in their jails and detention centers to federal authorities, as well as any illegal immigrants with active arrest warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Secondly, state law enforcement and local authorities must agree to hand over all illegal immigrants detained by local police. And thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal immigrants wanted for crimes, especially violent ones. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey adopt these cooperation measures already used in most states, the Border and Customs Service won't be needed. To support immigration and customs enforcement in Minnesota, immigration and customs enforcement and local law enforcement will be able to work together peacefully, as they do effectively in many other states and jurisdictions. President Trump is also urging Congress to quickly pass a law to permanently end sanctuary cities.
Walz, who is currently under investigation, well, the governor, yes. That is for covering up large-scale embezzlement. If we put it in Russian terms, yes, he's trying to show Trump that nothing will be resolved without him, but with him, things will be settled. However, his guard, crazy lesbians and transgender people, don't want to calm down. They smelled blood and are drunk on their own power and impunity. Mercenaries of the Democratic Party. James O'Keefe, well, one of the most effective journalists in the United States, he constantly infiltrates various leftist organizations, Islamists, cartels, fascists, and constantly publishes some absolutely fantastic materials, which then lead to investigations by the police, FBI, and so on. Megyn Kelly, you remember her, right? Invited James for an interview, and so he went to, well, Minnesota, to Minneapolis, Minnesota. By the way, Kelly's interview with him turned out better than her interview with Putin.
We parked the car and got out of it in the crowd. We really did have our own undercover people. But what struck me at that very moment when I parked my car and got out, it was minus 12 degrees outside, so every inch of skin was completely covered. It was simply impossible to recognize you. And right away, 5 white women started interrogating me, trying to find out my identity and who I was. I had never encountered anything like that in my life before. Well, I actually told them that I was from the press, but it was almost as if they were going to arrest me if I didn't introduce myself or show them my identification. So I told them, well,
James, excuse me, you gave us a couple of exclusive videos which can be viewed on your website. We'll show a few while you talk. And there's a moment I think you're talking about where they're demanding that you show your press pass in Sector 9A. Here it is. Come on, work on this damn phone.
I'll show you. This is us.
Here's the press. If true, give it to her.
Yeah, I don't wear it. It's right here.
No, give it back. They're not journalists. I checked OK Media. They're not from Portugal.
And none of them are acting politically. Fools, come on.
James.
We're telling the story out of order. But what happened? They started shouting, shame, shame, shame. And again, this isn't even the autonomous zone yet. I'm about a mile from the shooting. They followed us to our car. They started throwing things at us. Remember, at minus 12 degrees, a bottle of water freezes in 20 to 30 seconds and becomes a weapon. They began throwing objects at me and my bodyguard, even searching and patting his pockets. They're acting like they're in charge.
5 strong, trained women just out on the street, a kilometer away from where the shooting happened. I'm not sure James knew about the shooting. He said he was doing something else and just happened to be there. Suddenly, James was stopped and completely covered up. You can't touch him, but it's written on his bodyguard. The press there is demanding to see documents, wondering why there are some people without any identification marks on the streets of an American city, just some random people. Even the police in general don't just come up and ask for your documents. No, show your documents. Why? Who are those 3? 3 of them are taking the bodyguard down to the ground. He's an airborne trooper, pretty tough, right? And the police? You might ask where they are. Anywhere, just not there.
The police have completely left this area, so you're absolutely alone, and I'm trembling. Megan, you asked me to discuss my film line in the sand. I ambushed the cartel. They're fleeing. They hate cameras, and they're dangerous. I've never encountered, so to speak, communism this closely. I've never experienced anything like this. We approach the car and they start throwing things at us. Rocks, frozen bottles, and what I clearly saw was a knife. I'm still going through all this footage. I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. Did you see that in the video? It was just terrible. How organized are these people? Every car?
Hold that thought on organization. We'll return to it. Let's show viewers what you went through and play the footage. 10A and 10B together. The crowd is following James when a projectile strikes him in the back.
Shame, shame. Close the damn doors. Close the door.
Close the damn doors. We're the damn press. We're the press. You know what the First Amendment is? You bet you do.
Press.
You know what the First Amendment is?
But the surveillance didn't stop. On the corner, on the street, where they don't let outsiders get close, somewhere they don't want outsiders to approach.
A man from the hotel signals someone, and that's when we realize we're in danger and need to leave. We move to a second hotel with someone accompanying us.
What does that mean? He signaled, he told them that you were staying there.
Yes, these people have watchers everywhere, with informants on every street corner and in all the hotels. Somehow they found out the number of our rental car. And then my driver received a text message with a direct threat of physical violence from an unknown number, from his phone, which
You posted?
Yes, I posted about the death threat.
It said, "We know you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his gang of Nazis. You're in a white Ford, license plate." And then you blurted out from Florida, "You have exactly 1 hour to leave or you're dead." That was to your driver.
Yes, it wasn't sent to my phone. It was sent to the driver of the car.
So basically, get out or we'll kill you. And they showed that they can kill. They showed that they will kill, gentlemen. It's not the first time. There is an organization, there are resources, there are hot and cold options, maybe even the desire. So it's pure fascism, the 1930s in Munich, the rise of Nazism to power.
Or maybe,
should we stay out of it? And now you tell me, is it possible to retreat? Is it possible to give them the country? Is it possible to hand over the future of our children to them?
I don't know who rented the car. We don't know. Eva contacted me. I think the Attorney General of the United States himself messaged me personally. Bondi messaged me directly this morning, and we're seeing if we can track it. But it went to the car's driver, not my phone.
I'm sure their lives were in danger. That's what they're promising to us.
I'm so furious that I've re-recorded this video about 15 times trying to express myself. It's time to put on the uniform and be fully ready for action. It's clear, no, we're no longer talking about peaceful protests. We're not going to have these polite conversations anymore. Right now, I'm speaking directly to my damn subscribers. This is everything I've been telling you over and over, and this is exactly what, as I said, was bound to happen. This is exactly what the hell was inevitably going to happen. Since we didn't march with a gun, sorry, but welcome to America in 2026. Where is the Second Amendment? The only thing that will damn well protect you from literal Nazi militants who kill innocent people right out on the street with impunity. Grab your damn guns and stop those bastards.
He is just suggesting to kill employees of the Federal Bureau of Immigration, as well as National Guardsmen and also municipal police officers. And he's completely serious. Do you understand how far the Democrats have shaken the country, to what degree of hatred they've brought it? Yes, of course, these people, they're not normal to begin with, I understand. It's not even that they're normal, they're on the edge. Yes, but they need someone to give them a little push to go off the rails. But right now they're under pressure that everyone will be arrested, everyone will be imprisoned, sent to Siberia or Greenland. I don't know. Well, naturally, besides the crazy ones, there are those who work for a good reward. The crazy ones train. It's not like $1,000 a week, right? These are serious trainings. They're well equipped. Well, simply put, there are female mercenaries, and of course, male mercenaries too. But right now, lesbians are at the forefront. Yes, the one who is shouting about kill, kill, kill. I want to show him in his everyday life, his normal, ordinary life, just as he is every day.
He has an Instagram with 100,000 followers. This is how Kyle typically appears there.
I think he's a transvestite. He wears women's clothes. I can't even, well, yeah, so colorful, with long hair. It's obvious that there's something really wrong with Kyle. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah, he's wearing women's high-heeled boots, showing off his butt. Kyle. Honestly, these photos, they're much more disturbing.
On that major note, that's where I want to end our story about battle lesbians, cheerful transgenders, and complete sexual adequacy. A leftist movement that sometimes doesn't let Jews into universities, sometimes beats up journalists, sometimes shoots people they don't like. We live in a remarkable time, comrades. Let me know if you're interested in stories and investigations like this, or if you only want to hear about politics. Thank you. Goodbye.